Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Curious Kingdom. Today we are recapping Korean drama movie The Piper. Set in 1950s after the end of Korean Wars, a father-son duo are on their way to the Seoul through the Korean highlands. The father, Woh Ryong, who is taking his sick son, Young Nam, to the city of Seoul for the treatment of chest tuberculosis. In traveling long journey, tired and exhausted, they reach a remote unmapped village. Initially, the residents of the village seem to be scared of them. But later, after village chief's approval, they are allowed to rest in the village. The village chief doesn't seem to be bothered and even invites them for meal at his home, during which Woh Ryong tells him that he is a piper and also has knowledge of traditional medicine. He asks the chief if he would be generous enough to accommodate them for a few days as his son is sick and they both are tired due to long journey. He also shows up a note in English that reads "Kiss my ass monkey" given to him by a Yankee's daughter, telling that it's the address in Seoul where his son can be treated. It is nothing but a cruel joke played on the piper by Yankee's daughter. The chief, who is also unable to read English, lies and affirms it to be an address in Seoul. Piper presents the chief with a pack of imported cigarettes, and the chief allows them to stay in his house. Later that day at the village, a birthday celebration is going on when another villager, Misuk, a woman who lost her husband and son in the war, is seen preparing food for the villagers. Piper is instantly charmed by her. He started playing a melodious tune, entertaining the villagers. During the celebrations, Misuk is seen busy preparing a feast using eggs. But when she cracks an over-incubated egg, all the villagers gather around and the chief declares that it is a message from Spirit Realm and that she is chosen to be their shaman. Later that night, Piper notices that the village is plagued by rats that have grown too fearless, and usual traps and poisons have failed on them. During the meeting on how to tackle the situation, Piper offers to help the villagers on their vermin situation. He claimed that every beast with 2 ears follows command of his music. After some contemplation and reluctance, the chief decides to hire him and pay him a prize of the cow if he is successful in his claims. Later, when the chief and Piper were alone, the chief ordered him strictly not to tell the other villagers that the war is over. The next morning, the Piper started his preparations. He also helps Misuk by repairing the roof of her residence as a gratitude for looking after his son. While repairing the roof, he sees the chief's son feeding meat to the rats, and in the evening he inquired the chief about Sam. The chief doesn't seem to be bothered by it and tells him how the whole rat situation started. They reared a cat to scare away the rats, but the rats ate the cat and developed a taste for meat. So to keep them from attacking the humans, they would regularly feed meat to the rats. He further explains that back in the day when the villagers heard the Chinese army was approaching, they evacuated, but some people and one shaman decided to stay and hid inside a cave. Later, when the villagers returned again to the cave, they found all of them dead as rats feasted on them. Next morning, the Piper prepares 2 special powders and spreads them in trails all over leading to the cave. He explains to the villagers that one powder will act as a rat repellent, and the other will lure the rats, eventually leading them to the cave where he plans to trap them. Piper starts a fire after carefully inspecting the wind direction, and adds rat repellent powder to it. When the smoke descends to the village, all the rats came out of their hiding spots. Misuk, the newly declared shaman, is also forced to perform some ritual using the bells also at the same time. The plan succeeds and rats follow the trail of the powder and the sound of his music and enters the cave. The Piper, with help from his son, used a later boulder to close off the cave's entrance, hence trapping the rats inside. When he returns to the village, everyone cheers and prepares a feast. At the feast, father-son duo performed a musical piece which the villagers enjoyed. Once everybody left, Piper and Misuk are seen talking to each other. It was seen clearly that they both were developing feelings for each other. Piper invites her to go with him and his son to start a new life. Telling him that she is too afraid of war outside, she dodged the question. Their likeness to each other didn't remain hidden from the chief, and he summons Misuk. She told the chief that she doesn't want to be the fake shaman. He told her that villagers needed a new shaman as they believed that rat came because of the death of previous shaman, and that she must continue to act as a shaman. He then hurts her ankle as a warning and threat to not go against his wishes. In another flashback, it is revealed the village was a settlement for people affected with leprosy were exiled from their respective villages. The shaman residing there took them all in and supported them. Because of the war, villagers came to the area starving and asking for help until the war gets over. The shaman was initially reluctant but later decides to help the villagers when she saw toddlers crying due to starvation. Back in the present, the chief intends to keep the villagers under his control by scaring them of the ongoing war, prevent them from leaving the village. In reality, war is over and a truce is reached. He also started to see the Piper as a threat, and to put a stop to his growing popularity among the villagers, he calls a meeting. Taking advantage of the innocence of villagers, he made them believe that the Piper is a commie spy, and the smoke was created as a signal to them. He told them that actually it was their shaman who drove the rats away, and that the Piper has seduced her and is planning to take her away, which they can't let happen. Meanwhile, the Piper again asks Masuk to leave with him, and she agrees. He is overjoyed beyond comprehension and says he'll get the prize money from the chief, and the three will leave her for Seoul in the morning. Masuk pleads him not to go to chief and tells him that they will leave and start anew. Piper doesn't pay heed to her request and leave to meet the village chief. All of the villagers were gathered there, and the chief was ready with the prize money, but he refuses to pay as a dead cat is found, implying the rats are back, meaning that the Piper didn't fulfill his end of bargain. When the Piper reaches out to take his money, the chief's son chops off his fingers and throws them away. The chief plunges through Piper's bag, takes out the map and note from the Yankee doctor, and tells the villagers that this confirms that he's a spy. After hearing the commotion, young Nam rushes to his father aid. Seeing his father's missing fingers, he started crying and covers them with a piece of cloth. The villagers also blamed his son of stealing a pencil and started beating both of them. Masuk reaches there, and the villagers started blaming her to be in cohort with Piper as a spy. She refuses and turns on Piper, telling that he is the spy and she has nothing to do with him. Rather, it was she who drove the rats away, not the Piper. Seeing the only person he trusted the most turn against him, Piper breaks and was devastated. The chief tore away the supposed address and the map despite Piper's repeated requests. While the villagers were enraged, Masuk returns in a trance-like state with something stabbed in her stomach. She prophesies that in a day with no sun and night with no moon they will all die, and that fate will decide whether their children live or die. She claims that the visitor has come and screamed before she falls down and passes away after losing too much blood from the stab wound. Here again taken into a flashback where the villagers had locked the lepers and shaman in the cave only to become rat food. Shaman was betrayed even after she helped them and gave them a place to stay. Devastated by the betrayal, she prophesied the exact words that Masuk had spoken before. The villagers trapped her in the cave and burned her alive, which marked the beginning of the rat infestation. In present day, the chief poisons the food and packs into the Piper's bag. The villagers then throw the father-son duo out of the village, and the chief tells him he has packed some food and water for them and all scores are settled. He warns him never to come back there again. In the morning, they both tired and beaten rests under a tree when Piper falls asleep. Meanwhile, young Nam goes through their backpack, finding the poisoned rice ball which he took. He learns that his father's flute is missing and decides to retrieve it from the village. The Piper wakes up and calls out to his son. There he sees a dead rodent who tried to eat one of the rice balls left behind by his son. It is already dark and young Nam is returning to his father when he feels hungry and eats the rice ball he took with him and dies due to poisoning. Piper, on embracing his dead son, gets full of despair for villagers who took everything from him. Vengeance-filled father, after laying his son's body on a funeral pyre, covers himself with the second powder he made to attract rats. He added the same powder into his son's funeral pyre. He opened the cave's entrance where the hungry rats were trapped and smashed his remaining 2 fingers outside the cave to lure rats with blood. He then starts playing his flute and leads them back to the village. In the village, smoke from pyre has descended, and due to effect of rat powder, people were sleepy. In that sleepy state, rats devoured all the adults alive. The chief asked the Piper why has brought so much inhumane devastation to the village, to which he replies that by not paying and humiliating him they broke their contract, and he brought the hungry rats back. The chief tries to repel the rats and to survive started climbing a swing installed by the Piper. The swing broke as chief's son previously sabotaged one of the ropes out of jealousy for the Piper, and the chief is devoured by the rats. The next day, only the children are left in the village, scared and crying for their parents. They hears the Piper playing and follows him, thinking he will bring them to their parents. He sends all the kids inside the cave and seals the entrance with a boulder and stones, trapping all the kids. Films end with the Piper staring at the audience, making us think that even God's fury is nothing compared to angry father's wrath. Overall, The Piper is a dark and atmospheric film that explores the dark side of human nature and the consequences of our actions. It provides a fresh take on the classic folktale, blending elements of horror, suspense, and drama to deliver a thought-provoking narrative. The film serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of compassion, empathy, and the consequences of mistreating others. That's all for today, folks. Like, share, and subscribe for more such content. Curious Knight signing off. Stay safe, stay curious.